Hello, welcome to another little detailing Yoda video where I'm just about to coat this brand new M2 with ceramic coating as part of a new car detail. And whilst I had the camera out and whilst I had my radio mic on, I thought I'd run through some stuff that I've seen guys doing and seen people just efficiency tips really to do with ceramic coating, because I see a lot of guys doing coating cars, and it's something I've worked on a lot myself, is just efficiency with coating cars. And more than that, there's a few things. If you think about how you coat a car, there's quite a few tips for just avoiding the number one thing, the number one problem, if you like, when you're ceramic coating, is to avoid smears or hazing or high spots or whatever you call them, avoiding those when you're coating a car. And there's a few things that I was explaining to someone else this week while I was talking about coating that I thought I'd share in a video because it might help you. So the number one cause, I think, of smears and that sort of stuff is not that you would do the middle of a bonnet like this and then miss a point on a bonnet. Generally on the central part of any panel, you'll buff that really nicely, especially if you're in a nice well-lit workshop. That's not the major problem you're going to get. In my experience, from looking at cars that have been coated and from cars I've coated, and I've come back in the morning and gone, no, there's a high spot. The problem you'll get is when you're buffing or leveling, or what you'll do is you'll push coating onto a panel that you thought was done. And that is where 90% of your problems will come from. So there's a few things that I've learned to do over the years that sort of limit that. So average car to be coated. Personally, I always start on the bonnet. I always say to people whenever I'm training them, always go around a car in exactly the same way, whether it's right from your very first snow foam, right through to your decontamination, your washing, your claying, your machine polishing, your degreasing. Do all of those things the same way. Doesn't matter, that will be different for everybody. I've seen lots of people do it in lots of different ways. But so long as it's the same for you, and then you won't miss panels, and then you'll get into a good routine. Because if you think about it, detailing really is just walking around a car 10 or 15 times with different tools in your hand. When it comes to your coating stage though, I would strongly advise you to do it in a slightly different way. And that is to always do adjacent panels together. So if, for example, you'd polished this car and done the bonnet and then done the wings and then done a bumper, I see a lot of people leave bumpers till the end when they're polishing, which is fine. Or do the sides and then do the roof. Just think about that wet edge. So personally, when I coat this car in a minute, I will do a side of the bumper. So for example, I'll come around here. I'm just trying out the radio mic, so I hope it's working for you guys, and I'm trying to do a bit more of a, rather than just sit down, a bit more of a moving around thing for you. So I will coat, a bonnet this size I might split up into 6 probably. Obviously when we're coating, we'll try and do sort of 18-inch to 2-foot squares. So I'll do this sort of section, if you like, this half, and then buff them. Obviously, I'm a big believer of sort of putting your coating on, letting it flash, and then buffing it. Depends on the coating, obviously. And then I will move to the other side of the bonnet, because what I have seen guys do is do this half of the bonnet and then do that wing. And what you then risk is leaving a line down the middle of the bonnet, because you come back and do the bonnet maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, and that line that you've left has already started curing. So with coatings, it's just really important to think about that wet edge. So I would do that half of the bonnet and then immediately come here and do this half of the bonnet, so that there isn't really a difference in cure time between the two halves of the bonnet. Then I'd come and do this wing, because when I buff this wing, I risk pushing coating back onto the bonnet that I've already coated. So I'll do this wing, and then when I buff this wing, I won't really pay very much attention to the wing to bumper join, because it doesn't really matter if I push stuff onto the bumper, because the next thing I'm going to do is coat that bumper. Normally with the coatings that I use, and to be fair, most coatings have got like a good hour where if you spot a smear or a high point, you can buff it off and it won't be a problem. The same to the door. I'm not going to be overly bothered if I push a small bit of coating onto that door. I'm not overly worried about it because I'm going to be coating the door before it's had time to cure anyway. Obviously don't massive amounts of high spots on there, but the one joint I want to be careful of is this bonnet to wing. Then I'll come round and do the front bumper, and then I'll do that wing to bumper joint and make sure that is absolutely clear of high spots. I'll come across and do the other side of the bumper, and again I'll make sure at that point the whole bumper has been buffed, leveled, whatever you want to call it, really well. Can you see my head? Hopefully you can. And then again, I'll come back here, and when you get to this point, you've got no option really than to make sure this joint here with the bonnet, which is the first piece you coated, and this joint here are good. But I won't go crazy about this joint here, because I'm then going to go to the roof and come down here. So I know with the coatings I use, which generally will be the GYEON Pro coatings, but having said that, it's the same with the Angel Wax Enigma Genesis, with the Gtechniq coatings mostly for the most part, with the Carbon Collective coatings, most coatings I can think of, even the Kamikaze collection ones, that is fine. The point of the video, if you like, is to sort of just think about that route where you coat. There's some obvious stuff as well, so I wouldn't coat the wing and then the door. I would coat the bonnet, the roof first, sorry. If you coat the door first, you've then got to lean over it to coat the roof, which is not a great idea. So coat the roof first and then come down and do your doors. And I would personally move front to back. I wouldn't leave the bumpers till the end or leave odd things to the end. You always want to, you know, if you do the bonnet and wings, and then move on to the roof, you've got to come back to the bonnet, to the bumper, and you risk pushing coating back on here. The other one that I've fallen foul of before is when I coat an A-pillar, when I buff it, pushing coating back onto this wing that's already been buffed. So you'll learn after a while where you end up with a problem and where you'll end up pushing coating onto. So it's just a little video just to try and get you to think about that really, and sort of the way that you might go around a car when you're coating might be a little bit different, or it's good to do it in a different way to when you're polishing or when you're claying or when you're doing anything else on the car at all really. Let me know in the comments, are you a bumpers last person? Personally, I'm not. Even when I'm polishing, I'll always try and do a front end, then the roof, then the sides, then the back. That's just the way I've always worked. Which way around do you go? Let me know. Let me know if there's some more videos and stuff you want to do. Some more. Some of you guys seem to have really liked the little GYEON review I did of the new stuff. So if you want to see more of that, let me know if there's a product you're inquisitive about, or a machine you're inquisitive about, or any of that stuff really. And we'll see what we can do for you. Other than that, hope you've enjoyed me walking around a Long Beach Blue brand new M2. By the way, as an aside, has anyone seen these plastic arch fenders on an M2 before? I think I've done about 6 M2s this year so far, and that's the first one I've seen with them in. Maybe it's a new thing for the 2021 model year, I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you for watching. Do give it a like and a subscribe if you're not already. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. If you didn't, let me know what you'd like to see a video on. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Ta-da! By the way, as an aside, I've just been reviewing the video and thought I should probably just tell you about how to remove a high spot if you do get one. We're all human. We all get it. Let me just touch that a minute. We all get it every now and again. You can come in the morning after the coating's cured overnight and find you've got a bit of a high spot. So I've been ceramic coating cars with pretty much every coating on the market for 7 or 8 years now, I would say. And I have never found a coating that cannot be removed with a machine polisher. There's a lot of scaremongering out there about coatings need to be sanded off if the 9H or a 10H coating isn't buffed off, or if it's a high spot, you need to sand it off. I have never had to sand a coating off. However, if you apply it with your applicator and then you do not run a cloth at all over that coating again, so if you like it's super thick because it's straight off the applicator, that is where you will run into a problem, and you may have to sand it off. I've done it on a test panel on purpose. I put some Gtechniq Crystal Serum Ultra, so the pro grade one, on many years ago, and I just literally put it on with the applicator, never touched it with the cloth, never buffed it, left it for 2 days. That did need sanding. But I'm not talking about it's very, very rare you'll do that, because we all have the coating paranoia. You'll definitely run a cloth over it. As soon as you run a cloth over it and leveled it, you have changed the thickness of it, so it's got thinner, but you've also made it a lot smoother. The problem you get when it comes off here is it often forms little dots and it doesn't have a smooth coverage. So we all have the fear, and I think that's why people take so long around ceramic coating. But do a little test panel. Do a little test panel on your own car. Accidentally leave a high spot. Leave a few different things. It's really good. Whatever coating system you're using, have a little play with it and see, how you can fix the various errors that you could make. Really good education for yourself. But yeah, just wanted to say, don't be afraid. And I have never come across a coating, so long as you've half buffed it or run a cloth over it afterwards, where if you do come in the morning and you see a bit of a discoloration, or there's still a bit of rainbowing, or there's an odd shadow, never come across one that you can't fix that normally with quite a mild, like a yellow. Sometimes you'll need a little bit more. Depends on the coating, depends on the ambient temperatures, depends on the humidity as to how well it's cured. Often ceramic coating companies will give you, like GYEON have Cure. Often those sort of wipe overs have something in, or they have very similar chemistry to the coatings, and they will allow you to buff off or to level the coating a bit more. I think some of the stuff like the feynlab coatings and that sort of thing even have leveling agents, which I've got a funny feeling are a little bit like IPA. So do have a play with these things. Apply some coatings badly to a scrap panel or to your own car or something, and then see what it takes to get them off. It'll take away that fear and trepidation a little bit, and make you a better installer. Hope you enjoyed that final tip. See you again soon. Thanks for watching.